and welcome to Justice Losers, the most unqualified podcast exploring irrelevant questions about entertainment, namely movies, TVs, and comics. I'm your host, Preston, joined as always by my delightful co-host.
We're on a bit of a deadline here.
We are
lightning round. Let's go.
We're on a pretty quick deadline here. Matt, what should people do?
Like, subscribe, tell a friend.
Oh my God, Matt is... We have 45 minutes to get out of this room.
I can talk very quickly when I need to.
Can't wait till we have our own REM studio. We are talking about villains today.
And specifically what their respective motivations may be. Okay, I'm going to stop. This is going to get really old really quick.
About a month ago, it'd probably be at this point.
Yeah, at this point. Yep.
We talked about what drives a well-written hero.
Uh-huh.
Today we're going to talk about what drives a well-written villain. I want to clarify right now that we're going to avoid anti-heroes.
Yes, that'll be a separate episode.
These are going to be things that they do that make them want to do bad things for the sake of doing bad things, probably.
Yep.
Let's talk about that.
All right.
Well, do you remember the 5 types of villains?
Not even slightly.
We have the monster. Examples are Grendel, the lizard Killer Croc as a twisted image of the other. That's the twisted image. So
sure,
I guess
doesn't matter.
Move on. Enemy commander. Example is Satan in Paradise Lost. Hitler for Captain America. Mad Scientist, which is like Victor Frankenstein and old version of Lex Luthor. We have the Criminal Mastermind, which is like all the Bond villains, Kingpin in the Daredevil show, Lex Luthor, based on Adam Worth, which was an actual criminal mastermind in real world. And we have the inverted superhero or supervillain, which is basically... Or inverted supervillain, which is like the Joker is like an antithesis of Batman and almost all of the MCU villains.
Exactly.
So those are our 5 main villains.
Yep.
Types. Main villain archetypes. So what drives a monster?
So, for one thing, I don't think your categories can be broken down neatly into each separate category as driven by their own particular motivation, except monster. Monsters are probably pretty uniform. They're just like, oh, it's a whole smash.
I feel like monsters fit in with the survival. Plot twist. No, but actually, I feel like monsters are so driven by instinct that it's literally survival. Frankenstein was just wandering around, didn't know what the hell was going on, and was just like, people are attacking me.
Movie version, to be specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Jaws, the shark, eats people because he's a big, hungry shark boy.
Yep.
Not a big, hungry lava girl.
Let's talk about enemy commander.
Okay.
What drives an enemy commander?
Well, I think it depends a little bit.
Actually, you're right. I don't think we can really...
I don't think it's going to break down as neatly as that.
I think we could talk about certain drives and then kind of see which one of these...
I think one that would suit itself well to enemy commander is just the lust for power, lust for domination.
Okay.
I'm thinking the Emperor from Star Wars.
Yeah.
He wants to rule the world.
He just wants to be the Senate.
I am the Senate.
I don't know what that was, but that is such a contorted and disgusting perversion of what the joke is. And
we don't have time.
So mad at you.
Sauron.
Yeah. I mean, what's his big old story? Does he just want power? He just wants to be the dude that's...
I mean, if you confine yourself strictly to Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Okay.
That's all he does. He wants to rule Middle-earth, put it all under his shadow, control everything, and remake it in his image with the ring. If you get into the Silmarillion, it's a little more complicated about how he's Morgoth's lieutenant and stuff follows from that, but it's less interesting than, and less well known than just I want to be in charge. I want power. And I always feel like it's a one-dimensional motivation. Yeah. Right. Just, I want power, but it's a believable one.
I think it comes with a lot of like tangential, it comes from other stuff. So let's say, for a dumb example, there's a kid who grew up with a lot of wealth and things went and he wants to maintain the wealth, but doesn't have the skills to maintain it the way his family did. So he becomes a mob boss.
Okay.
And this is not based on any example of...
This sounds wildly implausible already, and I have 4 plot holes for you.
And so he wants to take over, but he like have control, but it's a control that's based on wanting to maintain a lifestyle. I don't know. I feel like a lust for power would come from something.
I don't know if it necessarily would. I mean,
we're talking about a well-written villain.
Yeah.
Which means non-one-dimensional.
There are real people in real life that's only motivation is power.
Yeah, they're poorly written people.
Oh, snap.
Oh! What? I don't know. I'm not sold on that being a well-written...
I think it can be done right if you do give it a cause.
Is the Emperor a well-written villain?
No, not even slightly.
There we go. Is Sauron a well-written villain?
Not applicable.
Okay, why? He's not really the villain.
There's not any writing. He doesn't have any dialogue. He doesn't
there we go.
Explain
so
who
yeah,
he is.
so not applicable.
Okay,
so,
I was going to go with Sador from Tenet.
Well, he wants to like destroy everything, doesn't he?
No, not in strict enough terms. Not in those terms strictly. So when he lays it out, spoilers for Tenet, I guess.
Been out long enough. The people who are gonna see it have already seen it.
Probably. So the plot object is the algorithm, which it reverses the flow of time and will save the people at the end of time from their impending destruction by setting them on a course where they can theoretically survive. Sador's going to die anyway. He wants to make himself a god that saves the future world and takes the rest of the world down with him. So it's partly just sort of a bitterness of just like, I'm going to be evil for the sake of being evil. But he explicitly says at one point that he wants to be a god.
Okay, so that's not really being like lust for power. It's lust for being an idol. Making a difference, but it's a corrupted making a difference.
Okay. Slight distinction there. Okay. I like it.
I think that is tangentially, I feel like that's an interesting twist on the, never mind. I was going to say on the vengeance for justice, but not really.
Okay. I'm glad you bring that up because I do want to talk about justice for vengeance. Killmonger.
Justice for vengeance.
Justice to vengeance.
Justice to vengeance.
He starts out with a legitimate point about, I want justice. My father was betrayed and my people around the world are oppressed and enslaved. I'm going to commit vengeance on the rest of the world. Their nominally reasonable means lead them to unreasonable ends.
Right. Yeah, no, he is to me one of the best villains in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree. Like it's more of just vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a contorted idea of justice. Vengeance is a perversion of justice.
Yeah. I just really like that I can do the little reversal.
Oh no, I loved
justice,
it. That was awesome.
Justice.
That's kind of pulling the curtain back a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Great joke for audio listeners there.
Video people. I feel like most of the good villain motivations are just a twisted version of hero motivations. I feel like I wasn't going to be able to subtly get to that point at the end, so I'm just going to lay it out right now.
Yeah, no. A lot of them are.
I think that it's a vengeance. Well, what distinguishes a villain's vengeance versus an anti-hero's vengeance?
We'll save that for the anti-hero episode, so I've had a chance to think about it a little bit.
Think about that, listeners.
There you go.
What makes a villain wanting to get vengeance different from an anti-hero getting vengeance?
Send us a 5-paragraph essay, justiceloserspot@gmail.com, because I don't know the answer, and I'm going to need to have something prepared for when we do an
help.
episode.
Help us, please.
Help, please.
Yeah. What else? What are other villains that are really well written? Actually, here's a pretty good one. Literally just brainwashing, manipulated. Like,
okay.
It's kind of a cop-out that they're not really the villain.
Sure.
But once a hero... I mean, Darth Vader was kind of manipulated.
Yeah.
Was definitely manipulated.
A little bit.
Totally over the course of 2 movies was 100% manipulated.
Yeah.
And he's a well-written villain-ish. Like,
sorta.
we kind of get his... he's a poorly written... The idea of what Darth Vader was good.
Yeah, the pawn of the enemy
so I guess we can't really consider them
mastermind.
The villain.
I mean, he's a villain. Yeah,
but I think it's unfair to call it a pawn. Like, unfair to call it a pawn.
His motivations are not his own motivations.
Yeah. Which I think could make it survival.
Yeah, they do become sort of a monster in that sense.
Ooh. Look at us go.
Woo.
What else?
Well, so then what motivates someone to manipulate people into becoming their villainous pawns?
Fear of weakness?
Fear of weakness, lust for control.
Yeah. I think the fear of weakness one it's like literally just people, like dogs being backed into a corner, and so they like, I mean, it could be that someone traumatized them, or like whatever the reason that got them there. Like, there are some good villains that are just backed into a corner, and everything they're doing is just for their own survival, or for someone else's survival for someone else.
Yeah.
Like, they're doing villainous things because they're being controlled by like their kid is kidnapped or some shit.
Vesper from Casino Royale is there's spoilers for Casino Royale.
I have not seen Casino Royale.
Okay, never mind.
Spoiled. I've been spoiled. I think the problem that I'm having with this episode is that every time we come up with a reasonable, like, well-written justification for a villain, there's probably another villain behind it. And I think the point might be that there's no good justification for villainy, because any justification implies a worse person.
Just the sheer fun of it all.
Joker.
Ramsey
sheer
Bolton.
Fun of it all. Like, it's a well-written hero in that it's terrifying.
Did you just call the Joker a hero?
Villain.
Yeah.
Back off. He's a hero. I mean, yeah, it's like, I guess what I'm doing is I'm mixing up the idea of a well-written hero versus a justifiable, or well-written villain versus a justifiable villain.
Yeah. Hela is one of my favorite MCU villains.
And
she's not justifiable
at all.
But she's so much fun.
Yeah.
Because she's just there for the fun of it.
Yeah, I think the fun of it is a really good one that, like, snaps me out of that misconstruation.
Sure.
Yep. We're actually making pretty decent time.
Yeah, we can slow this down a little bit. What are some other good villains? Let's work at this backwards. Kingpin. Daredevil.
Yeah. Control.
TV show specifically. Control, and he almost feels like, again, a justice into vengeance kind of guy.
Yeah.
Where he starts with, hey, this is a broken system, bad place. Let's fix it, but along the way, he kind of discovers a taste for power and control and fear of weakness.
I think there's an element with him, desire for idolatry, where, like, you want to be and that kind of goes back to what's his name from Tenet, where it's like you want to be someone who's remembered for something, but it gets twisted along the way.
Yeah,
and that can lead to some cool, like, storytelling of them just losing their mind, because it's like it's a goal that you can see yourself attaining, but also watch it fade away. And that's I've always liked watching. My favorite villains are the ones that, like, snap and, like, you can see them panicking at the end.
Azula.
Yes. Oh, that's a great villain. What's her deal? Probably just satisfy daddy. Don't like that sentence. But also,
that one.
Mark Hamill daddy was, like, lust for power, just wanted to control everything. Although he wasn't a fantastic villain, really.
Who, Darth Vader?
No. Fire Lord Ozai. Not Ozai. Yeah, Ozai.
Ozai.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just a scary villain, but like,
yeah,
didn't have a lot. He was just like, I'm just gonna kill everything.
Yeah.
It's in my way.
Yeah, and I think a well-written villain doesn't need a well-written motivation for that reason, because they can just be big and scary. You hype them up right.
Well, now I'm having an existential question about what's the difference between a drive and a motivation. Because we're talking about what drives a well-written villain, but a well-written villain doesn't need a motivation.
Well, they don't need an interesting one.
Oh, I guess that's true.
It can be as boring as, I'm Hela, I'm going to rule Asgard. And they can still be well-written and fun.
Yeah.
Money.
Money's good.
Night Manager guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good example. He literally just like one of the best. I really liked hearing the story about like what one of the main characters history with him. It's like they just saw a horrendous weapon used, and she saw like murder, and he saw profit, and was like, and his thing was just like, he's just money, and he's just a psychopath, and he's just like, or sociopath, has no emotions towards anything except for just profit.
Right.
He's another good example of watching someone snap right at the end.
Yep.
Thanos is a well-written villain.
Oh yeah, forgot about him.
What does he want? He just wants to save the world or the universe from themselves.
Yeah, and it's sort of an idolatry. Like he
well, he doesn't want to be remembered.
Yeah.
When he does it, he literally just f***s off to the farm.
Yeah.
He doesn't like make everyone realize that he's the one that did it. So he doesn't really want idolatry.
He talks about wanting to watch the sunrise on a grateful universe, but he doesn't want the gratitude.
Yeah.
He's driven man on the mission.
I wonder, that's kind of a Batman, because his drive was because he watched his planet kill themselves from overpopulation. And
so is he just justice into
vengeance?
Except it wasn't vengeance per se. It was just justice into
on a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Because like it's. I mean, yeah, you're right. It's not really much of a vengeance. Like, you can abstractify it by saying it's a vengeance on a lifestyle, but that's not satisfying. No one wants that.
No, it's justice that's gotten itself twisted up.
Yeah. And it's not even justice. It's just like,
ice.
Protecting people from what he's gone through.
Mr. Freeze.
Oh, he's a well-written villain.
Yeah.
Doing whatever he can to protect or get something like that's a good one.
I'd say he kind of almost ties into Thanos there, where it's just he has a mission and he's gonna do what it takes to accomplish it, and sometimes that gets itself twisted up with things that he probably shouldn't be doing. But
I think it's for them, it's a very clear goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's one of the like the ends justify the means.
Yeah,
is a really strong one with villains.
Yep.
But also it's a strong one with anti-heroes.
Yeah, that's where you start to bleed over that edge a little bit.
Yeah. So let's just keep talking about villains. Ignore anti-heroes for now.
No anti-heroes. Okay.
I did say that at the beginning.
Yep. Does that make Thanos an anti-hero?
No, stop it. No anti-heroes.
Does that make Mr. Freeze an anti-hero?
Yes, but no, stop it, and not anti-heroes. Did the Emperor have a justifiable goal? Or was it just control?
In Star Wars?
Yeah.
The Emperor? Order, I guess. Trade-off of the security of control.
Yeah.
There's a good argument that the Empire's the real heroes in the original trilogy.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's mostly like control.
Right.
Like order, like that people's freedoms are what causes problems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is a pretty common one.
It's like a twisted sense of philosophy.
Yeah. Yeah, the protect people from themselves. Protect people from themselves. I'm thinking of iRobot. The main villain at the end of that one is humans, it's a robot. The villain ends up being a robot. Spoilers for a movie from 2005. It's mostly just there for Will Smith to do one-liners and action stuff. Yep. A pretty good movie, all things considered. But the robot at the end of it follows the 3 laws, and the 3 laws are: robot may not harm a human, or through inaction cause a human to come to harm. And the robot looks at the world and says, hey, humans are causing themselves harm all the time. If I carry out inaction and don't save them from themselves, then I'm breaking harming the first law.
Yeah.
And so they decide to impose order on society and take it over. Control.
Yeah. So we're pretty much settling on twisted sense of philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
Ends justify the means.
I think those two collide.
Can overlap a lot.
I think they do overlap. But I think they're the same. I think one is a subset of the other. I don't know which one's which, but
I think twisted sense of philosophy is pretty overarching.
Okay. Yeah.
But what else fits in twisted sense of philosophy? Fun! The fun of it!
That's not philosophical.
Enjoying life. What makes life worth living?
Hunting
cutting
humans for sport.
Faces off.
I like that we both had ready-made answers for that.
Yeah.
They were horrifyingly violent. Hey everyone, Matt here. Hope you've been enjoying this video. If you want to hear the fuller version of this discussion, you can find that on our audio-only podcast. That's going to be wherever you listen to your podcasts, be it SoundCloud or Spotify or iTunes or iHeartRadio. Appreciate you watching this far, and we hope you listen on further.